I'm Bob Coleman, and we're talking Main Street and the small business lenders who help it grow. Thank you to this week's sponsor, the National Alliance of Commercial Loan Brokers annual event in Miami. This week's top story, significant news in the SBA lending industry. First of all, the GAO issued a report about credit elsewhere, another one, and the Senate has passed and it's sent to the President the Small Business 7A Oversight Act. Listen to Lance Sexton and I discuss this.
This week, there were two very important news events for our industry. Event number one is the GAO released a study that says 40% of you do not document credit elsewhere correctly. This is an extremely hot topic, not necessarily on the Senate side. You listen to that hearing, and they didn't bring up credit elsewhere once, but very high profile in the House. And this confirms what we pretty well know, that there are issues. Now, the data is old. This was back in 2016 before it was on our radar, not as much on our radar as today. But they did go and interview 8 lenders to get a little bit more background behind them. I don't think you need to read the report. It's 47 pages. If you want to, it's up on the website. But let's go to the next slide. This is what's going to happen. This passed the Senate on Monday or Tuesday. We now have an official SBA 7A oversight bill that the President will sign, and these are the items in it. Down in number 4, it establishes a lender oversight committee, and they're going to define credit elsewhere. So you will be receiving new instructions. The bill lists several things, such as a startup is automatically into it, a high credit risk NAICS code, restaurants, for example. So don't worry about it now. I don't see anything here that is a concern to the industry. The good news is the law now gives the administrator the authority to increase the loan program by 15%, which will solve any crunches at the end of the fiscal year in September. And they have authority to fine you up to $250,000. But Lance, if you're going to be fined $250,000, I think you got bigger issues.
Yeah, you're going to have to be a pretty rogue SBA lender to get tagged with a fine for $250,000. Hey, on the credit elsewhere thing, Bob, in the interim, make sure it's in your credit memo. There's discussion in your credit memo. And I like to see you include a memorandum in the loan file in addition to that that clearly explains credit elsewhere on that particular loan and has the signature of the originating, Bob, there's a fly attacking me, originating loan officer on there. But all of us will embrace, Bob, Congress defining credit elsewhere. Give us some more clarity. Right now, it's a really vague, it's not difficult to understand, but it's pretty vague. I mean, there's lack of collateral, borrower needs more term, you know, startups, bad industries. Give us a little more definition and make help us understand, because we're all doing, I mean, everybody on this call is trying to do the right thing on credit elsewhere, and then they get an on-site review and they get dinged for not properly proving credit elsewhere.
It's unfair because the lenders say, oh, this is always a term situation. We have a longer term. I can go 10 years fully amortized, and bam, bam, bam. They put that as the reason for every loan, and the reviewer said, no, you're not doing it right. I said, well, what do you mean? You have to be more specific. Okay, we'll be more specific, but give us guidance. We'll do whatever you want us to do, but give us guidance.
What happens if you make a mistake, an embarrassing mistake, and someone at your institution emails the tax return to an outside third party who shouldn't have received it? Listen to Lance and I discuss real-world solutions to this embarrassing mistake.
Lance, we make a mistake, and we just found out that we emailed Lance Sexton's hardware tax return to Sally's Cupcake Shop.
Yeah, Bob, even a better poll question would be, have you done this?
No, we're not going to do that. I'm not going to.
Bob asked me yesterday during the webinar what my thoughts were here, and of course, I think all banks have a prudent procedure for when a tax return is sent to the wrong party. And these guys are on point, Bob. Notifying the borrower is the correct response. Now, you could notify SBA, and I indicated absolutely notify the borrower and maybe even notify SBA. Brent is great. It was great to have Brent on yesterday, because the cool thing is Brent, even though he's no longer with the agency, it's like he's still there. I mean, he still talks to everybody on a daily basis. But Brent agreed. Got to notify the borrower. Don't have to notify SBA, but you can. You can send a notification to the servicing center. Don't expect a response, but you can.
And the takeaway is you cannot do number 3. You have to do something. You need to log it. You need to keep track of it. Certainly bring in your in-house counsel, your outside counsel. But
one thing that Brent brought up that I thought was great is kind of like documenting a unilateral servicing action. He was suggesting that you put something in file that says, we accidentally emailed the tax return to the wrong party. We notified the borrower, but putting a brief memo in file that shows that it happened.
And we're taking remediation steps not to make sure this doesn't happen again. So very good.
As I've said, I have a pretty cool gig. I get to listen to a lot of small business related videos, small business videos. John's Crazy Socks is a startup. In a year and a half, they've created 33 jobs, 15 of them for people with, quote, differing abilities. They have over 5,500 online reviews, 96% 5-star. They've sold to every state, 44 different countries. They have over 100,000 orders and earned $3.6 million in revenue. Listen to the co-owner and founder, John Cronin. He's the chief happiness officer of John's Crazy Socks based in Melville, New York.
Good morning, Jimmy Sabat. Faculty member of Field Quizzes and member of committee. My name is John Cronin, and I am the co-founder and chief happiness officer of John Crazy Socks. Thank you for inviting me to be here today as a free representative and self-advocate of the National Down Syndrome Society. I have Down syndrome, and Down syndrome never hurt me back. I am 22 years old, and I work hard every day to show the world that people with Down syndrome are ready, willing, able to work, giving us a chance, and we can be successful. I founded this banner with my dad, Mark. It's my idea, and I came up with a name. We have a message to spread happiness. I love my business. In the fall of 2016, I began my last year of school. I was ready to work. I did not need more school. I did not need more training. I wanted a good job like my brother Patrick and Jamie. I told my dad that I wanted to go into a better exam. We opened John Crazy Socks in December 2016. Now I'm with my socks and president. We have created 23 shops and 15 of my colleagues have a disability. We show every day what's possible. We show we can run a great business. We have a shape over 100 executive orders and make over $3 million. I want you to know what people like me can do. Give it a chance.
Thank you. Good job.
I thought you would enjoy that video about John and his company, John Crazy Socks. Hey, this next clip comes from CDC Small Business Finance. Rodina and her mother started serving the San Diego community in City Heights from their driveway 11 years ago. As word spread, eventually the demand for their food forced them to a new location. Their specialty was lamb tacos. In fact, they even start the name of the company. It was called El Borrego, which is lamb in Spanish. So it's a great story. They got the financing. The restaurant has made them an icon of City Heights with its vibrant exterior, great customer service, and of course their lamb tacos. Fast forward to the president, and they're working with CDC again so they can finance an additional 2,000 square feet. I love these stories. The clip goes on longer. We're just going to play the first part of it, about a minute, and then I'll do the second part of it at a later date.
Hi, my name is Rodney Atik, and I'm the owner with my mom, Rosario Sotelo, El Borrego restaurant. It's in City Heights. We have been in business for 13 years already. Our food is authentic food, Mexican food from the south of Mexico. We are from Acapulco, Guerrero. My mom had the vision to have lamb tacos in San Diego, and that's what she decided to open a little spot in San Diego that sells lamb. We started in a little driveway. Suddenly 3 months later, the people was asking for pounds of lamb, and we were consuming 600 pounds a week, and we were only there for Saturdays and Sundays. That's when we decided to open a bigger space, and the people start saying, hey, you know what, I told my compadre, I told my friend to come to El Borrego. And we were asking, who's El Borrego? You are El Borrego. You are the lamb. You sell lamb, so you are El Borrego. So the people named the restaurant, and it was a no-brainer to open a space with that name. So of course, I will work with CDC again, because the people that work with CDC, they are very professional, and they make our journey in order to get to a loan easier. I cannot think about going to a bank or another. We feel so comfortable, and we know everybody, and they have come to the restaurant, so we feel very comfortable, like a friend, and to tell a little bit of our lives or what we need, and they will support us and give us the help that we are asking for.
Finally, congratulations to Lance Sexton, the associate producer of this podcast, and Michael Geske, the director and editor. First place award winners for Best Podcast of 2018 by our trade association. If you've enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. I guess there's a bell icon somewhere in the upper right-hand corner. Click on that, and you'll be notified whenever we release a new podcast. Hey, thanks for joining us today for the Coleman Report Update and for supporting America's Main Street, one entrepreneur at a time.